Welcome back. So, which way forward for Lebanon? Well, the Arab League foreign ministers met on Sunday in Cairo to try to end the impasse. They appealed for an immediate ceasefire, urging both sides to give the army total control. They've also been calling for the parties to immediately agree to form a national unity government. The Hezbollah-led opposition left the government in November 2006 and are demanding a greater share of cabinet seats. The League also wants a new electoral law which would make Parliament more representative of the country's different groups. They also want a new president to be elected, but they've tried 18 times without success. Still, all of the sides agree on one candidate, Army Chief General Michel Suleiman. But both sides have been unable to agree on when to implement these. Hezbollah insists that the national unity government be fixed first, whereas the government demands a new president immediately. As a compromise, the League is advising that they be carried out together. Well, joining us again in Beirut, Ahmed Musalli and Hisham Jaber, and in Washington, D.C., Hussein Abdul Hussein. Ahmed Musalli, some have said this is a war by proxy in Lebanon. Is it?
Definitely it is. What we have been seeing for years and years, and it's not just now, that different Lebanese groups ally themselves with the outside world in the region as well as beyond. And therefore, what we are seeing is a proxy war in the sense that different groups are allied with different coalition of states. Well, and to put it more frankly, I think the U.S. led attempt to dominate the area through what was called the new regional order that started with the Israeli invasion in 2006, has been failing and has failed. And all attempts by the U.S. to control the area, whether it's in Palestine or more directly in Iraq.
Sorry to interrupt you, Ahmed Musalli. Sorry to interrupt you, but what about the counter-argument that it's Iran and Syria who are mostly fanning the flames?
No, this is the other front I'm going to talk about. So, but basically the problem is the following. We have basic problems in the area. We have the Arab-Israeli conflict that has not been resolved. And if you want to look internally at Lebanon, we have people who are against Israeli aggression, daily aggression, and the U.S. The resistance, which is composed of, or the opposition, which is composed of so many Lebanese, are not going along with the United States and with the so-called moderate Arab states. I mean, they are only moderate because they don't fight Israel and they are pro the U.S. Internally, they are not moderate at all. On the other hand, we see confrontation states or the coalition of the confrontation states. It's Syria, Iran, it is it's Hezbollah, it's Hamas, Islamic Jihad, and in fact, most of the people of the area in the Arab world and in the Islamic world. Arabs, Christian and Muslims, Arabs and non-Arabs. And what we are going through in Lebanon, we are in some way or another symbolize all of the problems of the area through our external alliances. In Lebanon, we never have an independent state from its very beginning or creation, or what was called the Greater Lebanon. Every confession was given an ally outside. The Orthodox
okay, sorry to interrupt you. I want to bring in
Hussein
Abdul Hussein in Washington, D.C., symbolizing all the problems in the region. An interesting point there by Ahmed Musalli. Mr. Hussein, the Arab foreign ministers are trying to do something. They're trying to resolve the impasse. They're sending a committee, a delegation spearheaded by Qatar. Can they achieve anything?
I don't think they can. I think the Arab League has been acting on this for a long while now. And if should they be able to succeed, I think this should have happened a long while ago. I don't think the Arab League can do anything about this. What I'm thinking about your question about the proxy war, while I might agree that there's tension as a regional tension that's reflecting in Lebanon, especially between the Shia and the Sunni, I disagree that there's a proxy war because there's only one group or one party that is armed and funded in this war. We see the other group is taking beating easily, and this doesn't look like to me a proxy war. On the other hand, the other group, we just heard MP Walid Jumblat calling on the army to take Mount Lebanon, and this to me doesn't seem like the government loyalists are planning to fight anytime soon.
Mr. Jaber, I think you would rather disagree with Hussein Abdul Hussein.
No, I have to remind Mr. Hussein that the opposition is not only Hezbollah. Of course, Hezbollah is the major group in the opposition, but there are other factions in the opposition who are not Hezbollah. Among the Druze, among the Christians, and General Aoun, he forgot about him. Even he was not involved in the fighting. And you have the leftist parties, etc., etc. This is to be clear. Second, to be objective and fair, we have to say, you are talking about the Arab League meeting in Cairo. I think the major point here, we call it in Lebanon SS, means Syria and Saudi Arabia. In my opinion, that the minimum of understanding between Saudi Arabia and Syria could bring a solution to Lebanon. But the absence of the Syrian Foreign Affairs Minister today in Cairo is not a good point, or is not a positive sign for any agreement. However, other Arab countries who are maybe interested in doing something to Lebanon, like Qatar, for example, could play a major role because they are enjoying the trust of the two sides. It's not the same position for the Syrians and the Saudi Arabians. If this meeting would bring any minimum of understanding between the Arabs who are in a meeting in Cairo, in my opinion, we could have the start of any solution. The problem in Lebanon is not that difficult, is easy and complicated, of course, but it's 90% not Lebanese problem. The Lebanese have 10% only, and it always has been, and especially in this time, it's inter-Arab problem, an international problem. What happened in Lebanon is not far away from what happened in Iraq and Palestine, is related. And the conflict between the Americans and the Iranians, of course, nobody could deny this.
Sorry to interrupt you. I want to bring in Ahmed Musalli for a final comment here. Ahmed Musalli, after failing to disarm Hezbollah and its allies through the UN Resolution 1559, do you believe that the United States will just keep going until Hezbollah is disarmed in any way possible?
Well, the only way to do it is to launch a regional war. I think this is one of the possibilities that we may witness at the end of the summer or beginning of the fall. Unfortunately, I think the whole issue will revolve around the Arab-Israeli conflict. And just a point, all Lebanese have armies. There are other groups that are armed. The socialists who are fighting today with the opposition have arms. The Lebanese forces have arms. The future trend has arms. And the problem in Lebanon is not between Sunni and Shia, as your guest in Washington said. I am Sunni with the opposition, but the problem is about our relation with Israel and the external war. In Lebanon, some of us do not accept the dominance
Musalli, I'm sorry,
of Israel.
I'm going to have to
Others
interrupt
do.
you because we have reached the end of the program. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Ahmed Musalli, Hisham Jaber, and Hussein Abdul Hussein. And thank you so much, the viewer, for joining us here on Inside Story. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.